Aswand, Cruickshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking in for a daily Move Swiftly thought, giving you a perspective on teamwork that you will not get anywhere else. Goal was 8 miles today. Had to cut it at 2. Know why? You know, every day that I don't hit the goal, I don't shy away from telling you guys, because normally I know exactly why the goal wasn't hit. It was one of 2 reasons. Still getting back into, Florida time. I was out of the country for about 5 days, so still getting back in there. And did break my, I believe it was over 75 days actually. I broke my 75 days of no alcohol when I was out there. It wasn't anything hard. There's a couple beers last Saturday, so that probably didn't help. But most importantly, the main reason I didn't hit the goal of 8 miles today, actually another reason is why I went 10 miles yesterday, but the real reason I didn't hit the goal of 8 miles today is because the last meal was about 12 hours ago. My last meal was 12 hours ago, and normally that is the case because my insomnia, my sleep pattern has been fucked up since the days in which I used to work overnight. So kind of gotten used to working around that in situations and stuff like that. So here's what it is. You're gonna be back again tomorrow, hitting it full strong, knowing not to let so long go, or don't try to run when it's been so long since you actually had a meal in which your body can actually fuel from. So anyway, all that being said, officially returning from my detoxification from socials and checking out current events and things like that. And apparently I missed some major politics, political news in regard to Donald Trump, who at the moment has my vote for president. He has my vote. Apparently there was some major news in which I missed in regards to the some event that he did in which he was going back and forth with a reporter. All right, and I'm using this lady. Her name, I believe, is Rachel Scott, if I'm not mistaken. She is not a journalist, even though the organization in which she was representing, or the organization that put on the event, the name of the organization is National Alliance for Black Journalism or something ridiculous like that. Something that I believe creates more separation than Donald Trump, who they're actually accusing of being the one who's decisive. If you're going to have an organization helping journalists, why does it have to be black journalists? Why can't you just have an organization in which if you're a good journalist, you're a good journalist and thrive from there? Why do you have to separate it? See, that's the same kind of shit that I spoke about in my book, Transferring D1, my latest book, Transferring D1, where that Plessy versus Ferguson, where, you separate people based on race and not based on actual skills and ability. And those are the things that actually ended up leading to the Jim Crow laws and all that kind of stuff. Yet we find ourselves the same things as black people that held us back in the past. We find ourselves doing the same old bullshit. So, a lot of the conversation that I've been hearing from, and this is me just kind of catching up and probably late to react to this, but a lot of the conversation has been about his comments about if Camilla is actually black or Indian and all that. I mean, aside from, before I even go any further, I can't tell you how embarrassed I am. I don't know if I'm more embarrassed at the fact that this organization was started in Maryland, my hometown, or the fact that there are actual adults on TV, all right, people who have grown ass adults who are sitting and having panel discussions and giving takes on whether someone is Indian or black. That is so fucking ridiculous. It drives me crazy. My ears have been ringing to know that adults can be having these conversations. Grown ass men and women are having conversations about whether someone is black or Indian. Not only that, if you go back and listen, and I watched the entire thing because of how much of a reaction it was getting. If you go back and listen, Donald Trump actually said it when he was trying to figure out, or when he was the clip that has gone viral. He said it doesn't matter to him either way whether she's black or Indian. He was just pointing it out. And so this rhetoric that's out there in which he was trying to challenge her race and all that, he was just stating what he knows. He was being as consistent as he's always been, whether you're white, black, blue, green, Hispanic, it doesn't matter. That's the way he is that's the way he's been for years, all right? He has not changed. That's the way he's been. He's as consistent as you can be. Like him, or hate him. That is him. And that's the kind of people that you need in leadership. Not the people that you're going to necessarily like, but the people who you know what you're going to get when you ask a question. Not the person who one day is Indian when it fits her, when it's convenient, but then the next day she's black when it's convenient. Oh, well, she went to an HBCU, as if only black people are allowed to be enrolled in a motherfucking HBCU. The whole thing, the whole conversation has been absolutely ridiculous. All right, but as far as what I want to make sure I explain, because as an individual that has interviewed hundreds of people, and I don't have a background in journalism like I believe her name is Rachel Scott, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have a background in journalism like she does, yet I would have done a much better job in regards to just being empathetic and fair when you ask someone a question, and being a whole lot more, just show some fucking empathy and show a level of respect at the fact that the man is actually there. All right, he's there. Unlike his, opponent, who figured out in some way, shape, form, or fashion, was able to skip out or miss an event that was primarily for black people, an event like that. She wasn't there. He was there answering tough questions in an environment. I mean, he's running for fucking president, and he's in an environment where he's the only white individual. Now, I can resonate with that feeling because I've been in environments where I was the only black guy in front and in a classroom full of white people. So I understand how challenging in itself that is. And instead of you being empathetic and asking him a direct question, you generalized a bunch of points. You started off by saying, okay, you have pushed false. This is what she said. I'm just going off what she said. She said, you've pushed false claims about President Obama, Nikki Haley. And then she started generalizing, like, if she really wanted to do a great interview, here's what she should. And let me actually, before I get into that, this is what she said. Let me get off what she said, and then I'll give you what she should have said. All right. First of all, she goes, all right, you've pushed false claims about President Obama and Nikki Haley. And then she went on to say something about how you've spoken negatively about women of color in the news cycle and have been very dismissive or just disrespected them in some way, shape, form, or fashion. All right. So she generalizes, and then she gets to her question. Her question was, okay, how do you expect to get the vote of the black population or something like that? So you generalize a bunch of points, and then you try to give them a question about, well, how do you expect to get the black vote? So how exactly did you expect them to answer when you generalized a bunch of different points, and then he gave you the answer based on how you asked the question? The way you should have asked the question was, hey, you said this specific thing about President Obama, which was not true. Answer that. All right. Answer how you could say that, why you said that. Let him explain exactly what was going on. And then what starts to happen is you start to see why he said it, or maybe he made a mistake when he said it, or what the context was. And then you get to the next point. Then you get specific to what reporter you're referring to. But when you generalize a question the way you generalized it, you're going to get an answer that's all over the place. And it even came out. This is why it's so embarrassing, because it came out that the organization that, again, is National Association for Black Journalism or something like that, the co-chair, somebody left the organization. If you see how the whole organization is set up, it's just been a crock of shit and has not been professional by any means. And that's what makes it more difficult. That's what makes it difficult for black people like myself, who have the ability, have all the skills that anybody has, regardless of white, black, Mexican, whatever. That makes it difficult for us when you decide to keep separating people by race and making it so you have organizations just for specific people of a specific color. These are the problems, folks. These are the problems. And this is what I'm on a mission. As the one and only Move Swiftly speaker, gives you the perspective on teamwork. Mr. Teamwork Guy, the host of the #1 podcast on innovative teamwork. I'm on a mission to stop this bullshit, because it just does nothing but create problems upon more problems. And all we're doing is just looking for people to blame. That's fucking ridiculous. It's ridiculous. All right. That you have one candidate who's either black or Indian, whatever it is. It really doesn't matter what she is. And you have another one who's a white male. Yet this candidate who's actually black and Indian doesn't show up to the damn event. Yet the person who is white shows up, and he's still getting slack. He's still getting bullshit thrown his way. And there's not enough, in my opinion. I mean, I've heard the people I listen to have expressed some of the same sentiments that I've expressed in terms of he showed up to the event, but most of the people that, you know, again, that are really leaning left are just constant with just try to stay as consistent as possible by leaning into bullshit about stuff that really doesn't fucking matter. You know, even if he was questioning whether she was black or Indian, he said it in his speech, he said it in his answer, that it doesn't matter either way. He's just trying to figure out which one it is. All right. So, like I said, I have a ton of more material. Like I was telling you yesterday, I took a detoxification, but there's a slew of material that I got to get to on this. I know I went and got a little long-winded for these Move Swiftly thoughts, but there's a ton of material I have to get to when it comes to this, because even though I did enjoy my time away or enjoy my time and trade out with my family, there were still things that I saw, a lot of the things that I saw that I personally was really, really disappointed in, and knowing that there's specific problems in my community and the places which I come from that I am here to fix. I'm here to be a solution for. I'm here to figure out ways in which we can create a better society for our young people, man, for our kids. That's what's important, all right? Woo! Felt good to finally get that off my chest, because I've been listening to that shit. I was listening to it all yesterday, you know, catching up on this news cycle, and it was crazy to me how much that picked up, how much those sound bites picked up, and like I said, I watched the entire thing. All right. All that being said, main website to check out to dive deeper into all my work, it's makeyeamove.com. That's MAKEYAMOVE.com. One-stop shop for all your teamwork and your self-development needs. Aswand, Cruickshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.